So we're live. Assalamu alaikum everybody. My name is Asad Sultan Khan and you're in the health show. It's gonna be episode 6 and I'm very excited because today we have Dr. Asmara. She's a doctor, she's a blogger, and she's also a mother. Balancing all of these things, I'm really intrigued to ask her about this. How does she balance everything? Because it's very difficult. It's tough, right? So Instagram is letting you guys know, and I'm waiting for you guys. It's gonna be an amazing show, inshallah. I am super pumped. Iske baad I just have to go and do my workout. So I'm very excited. It's gonna be a perfect day. All right. Hello, Movi bhai. कैसे हैं आप? So glad to have you here. Hello, Sania. Movi bhai, I'm waiting for you to get to be free. Okay, she's here. Hello, everybody. Hello. It's discipline, Sania. It's honestly discipline. Like you have to build the habit, and then you can eventually get up on time. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum. How are you, Asad?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Welcome
I'm
to the
fine,
health show.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you. It's a great honor to be here.
Same, same. I'm very grateful and honored to have you here today. People are actually excited to know more about you.
That's
And we're
wonderful.
joining. People are joining in. So let's begin. First of all, tell us about yourself. Who is Dr. Asmara? Who is basically who is she? How did she became from Asmara to this Asmara that we know, who inspires so many people, who writes amazing book reviews, and like she
Thank
studies so
you.
many books in one week. That makes me go insane. So tell us about yourself.
Okay, so to start off, I'm a bit of a boomer. I'm an old person, so for the younger audience here, I'm sorry. But yeah, so I finished my med school in 2011 from Shifa College of Medicine, and I did my house job from Shifa International Hospital. I did that in a year. In between, I got married. After my house job finished, I had a baby. You see her on my book reviews once in a while. And in between, I think during that gap as well, I had some time to figure out my priorities for my future as a physician as well. So that I think was the time when I started to think of teaching in medicine as a career. And I did 2 years of demoship in Shifa College of Medicine. And then from there, again, because I wanted to progress further, I enrolled in an MPhil program in NUMS, which is National University of Medical Sciences in Rawalpindi. So that's my trajectory so far. Abhi my MPhil is still ongoing. So inshallah, thank you pandemic for suspending semester finals. So glad.
I'm at peace right now. Like, the whole year is passing by so peacefully, like I did not imagine. you know?
You would, I guess so, but I think for students it has been a very, very difficult time because, especially people in final year, because the academics have been so like all over the place now. It's kind of scary.
True, so true.
Yeah.
Acha, and tell us about the doctor beats. How did you, begin that? Wo kaise chala? What's the experience so far?
So I started the doctorates pretty far back in 2015, I think, if I recall correctly. And it was mostly, again, because being, I had just had a baby. I was still trying to figure out how to raise her. And अभी med school के आप एक वो grinder में से निकले हुए होते हो आपका बिल्कुल दिमाग ना वो हुआ होता है. So I was hoping to just kind of reconnect back with my own self. And I had loved reading when I was a younger person. And I had sort of fallen out of that habit in medical college because इतना वो stress होता है again curriculum का कि हर वक्त आप histories लिख रहे हो, research कर रहे हो. But I sort of lost that habit of reading, and that's why I wanted to connect back with it. And then I realized I'm not alone. There are other people who lose that habit in med school. And the sad thing is that a lot of doctors are actually really, really fast and voracious readers. जिसे कहते हैं ना कि like they devour books like this. So I wanted to connect with that tribe as well. You know, it's not all lost. We can actually all become readers again. So that's my aim, to bring everybody back to the fold. Come, children.
That's true because when you're in med school, you're in this sort of just like you said, a grinder or a machine. When you're like you need to, you're just going through books every single day, every single
Yeah.
year. It's just the same thing. And once you're out of it, you're like, oh, shukar hai, once you're out, you survive. That is why we say surviving med school, right?
Exactly. And then house job itself is so stressful because एक चीज होती है कि they teach you everything by the book in med school, but then in house job it sort of gets turned on its head and everybody's like, oh no no, you don't follow the book. This is how we do it here. So that again, usme bhi it's sort of such a distraction.
All right. So tell us about this. What's that one thing you wish you had known before you began your journey as a doctor and a blogger?
Oh, I wish I had known about the importance of research. 200%. I wish people had told me to take it seriously as a student. And I think this is something that where medical colleges are actually failing their students because they don't integrate. देखो एक चीज होती है ना, एक तो होता है journal club करते हैं आप, you discuss research papers, you try to teach students about how important that this thing is, and then you tell them, okay, now you have to publish. If you're in third year, find a case report, publish it, we'll help you. But for some reason we don't do that. I don't really know why,
Nobody
but
does it.
it's strange to me because this is something you have to do for the rest of your life. It's the first thing they teach you when you start. जो हमारी अपनी नम्स की workshop थी, they said the first thing as an academic, publish or perish. There's just no
Yeah.
other way around it.
I mean, I know in my med school even, and I know people in other med schools as well. There is no culture of doing a research and the benefits of research. As a matter of fact, while I'm doing this research right now, I happen to read a research which was done by Armed Forces Institute, and they conducted this study in undergrad colleges in Pakistan. And they concluded that around 78.8% of the people of the students had a lack of motivation to do a research. 78.8% is.
That's for if I was a senior faculty member and I had that stat in front of me, I would be very scared because the future is all about publishing. And the sad fact is कि अभी तो हम लोग तो publishing को रो रहे हैं ना कि articles publish करें, बाकी सारी दुनिया जो है वो health data mining पे पहुंच गई है, collecting data from these smart devices like Apple Watch and Google Health, and then they're transitioning into this model where they will now predict based on these models from smart devices. हम अभी तक publishing को रो रहे हैं.
That is so true. And you know what? Even last night myself, I was doing abhi SPSS से पहले I'm doing data entry, and there's like 7,000 forms, और वो responses 1 2 1 2, and that was just so much कि मैं पूरी रात उसमें लगा रहा हूँ. And
Yeah.
you're right. The whole world has shifted to too much ahead, and we Pakistani हमें भी इसी में print करवाने हैं, अब ये करवाना है, अब वो करना है, अब ये करना है, all those things. And obviously there's a whole gap, and we need to the basic thing is we need to form this culture of conducting
Yeah.
more and more research.
And encourage students
All right.
more just to get over
Yeah,
that fear
yeah.
of doing research.
Basically. All right, Dr. Asmara, tell us about this. What's your biggest failure, and what did you learn out of it?
Okay. For me personally, I think my biggest failure was not recognizing back in med school कि एक पहली बात तो वही थी कि research कितना important है, and then secondly realizing कि maybe knowing that my talents aren't suited to clinical side early on, and then maybe pursuing that at an earlier stage. Okay, I wish I'd gone into academics earlier, like I really do. Be at the age of 32, I feel like, okay, I'm not a bad teacher, I'm a good teacher. But I wish if I had done that at a younger age, I might have been a better teacher. I might have been of more help to my students. So that I think is to me, like, and again, I think it goes back to the fact that we just don't have proper career counseling. There's so many options after med school. लेकिन हम बस वही देख रहे होते हैं कि FCBS, USMLE. Nobody tells you about, oh, you can go into pharmaceutical industries, you can go into public health, you can go into policy research. So look, these things, I don't know why we kind of neglect them.
That's so true. Nobody talks about it. I mean, when I was inducted in my med school, nobody talked about
Yeah, hasn't changed.
it.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah.
All right. So, and then my second question is, what is that one advice that you would want to give someone who wants to pursue the career as yours, teaching side?
Just be open to technology. Don't be afraid of it. Um, a lot of the times we see people who kind of transition into medical teaching and they're seriously very averse to technology. There's no reason to be scared of. Every single thing is a click away. You can look up things on YouTube, you can look up tutorials on Google. So there's no reason to be afraid. Just embrace technology, it's here to stay.
Exactly. And like even like
Yeah,
with this, the online teaching that's going on, people think that it's
yeah.
gonna go away. No. The whole world has already changed. I mean, it's here to stay, right?
Definitely. Even in telemedicine, the thing that they're discussing these days with OPDs having been shifted online. So a lot of people are like, wait, why do you need to bring patients to OPDs? Just keep it online now, you know? So
It's
that's, I
far
think,
more productive.
it is. It's more conducive to GPs who might, especially with a country like Pakistan where you have women who are forced to stay home because of family situations, because of domestic issues. For them, I think this is going to be a great, great help because they don't need to leave their home anymore and they can conduct an OPD and it's less heavy on the hospital's resources and it's beneficial to them to stay in practice as well. So, I mean, I think that's a really great initiative now that's starting to shape up. Thank you, COVID 19. Yeah.
All right. So this question, which I'm going to ask you, is very exciting. It's very interesting. It's
Okay.
something that I always have the most fun with, right? And it is this: if you had the time, energy, and money to do anything in this world to keep you healthy, what would you do?
Okay, if I had the time, I would definitely take up running. And I would run honestly all day long if I want, just for the fun of it. If I had the energy, definitely running because mostly I'm so exhausted. I can't even, I mean, I like to imagine myself running and then I just get exhausted thinking about it. And the money, definitely, I think I would invest in a good food service. Like somebody who would just tell me कि इस खाने में इतनी calories हैं and just, ship it to me, make it to for me and then send it to my house. Because those are pretty expensive.
That's a great startup idea as well. I mean, for people, because
There's
Pakistan में
so
नहीं हो रहा
many. No, there's so many keto food services, but I don't want keto. I just want like healthy food.
है. So you're not into
Yeah.
diets, etc. Paleo diet, keto diet, intermittent fasting, ye wo. You just want
I
to be
try
healthy.
to be. I just want, like, my personal thing is that the caloric deficit is the only thing that works, to be honest. It's the only thing that research has backed, and research has time and again said caloric deficit is the only thing that works sustainably over a
Exactly.
long time. Everything else is not sustainable. It will end up after 2 months, 3 months, and then you'll just gain it back. So, unfortunately for everybody, fat diets don't work.
And I mean, I see these diets. This called a military diet, in which you just take an apple and a glass of water, and that's just super crazy. And they go for like 3 to 4 days in this, and after that, oof, और वो गिरता फौरन है और एकदम से ऊपर वापस भी आ जाता है. People are like, oh, ये क्या हो गया?
No, it's ridiculous. And then, especially, I don't know if you know about these gyms and trainers and stuff. They hire all these people, especially around wedding season, because उन्हें होता है कि वो brides आएंगी, शादियां हो रही हैं. तो वो उनको diet pills दे देते हैं. वो असल में they're just
True.
diuretics. You're like, I could have given you that. So it's not fair to the patient. Like, it's not fair as a consumer, to be honest. I think it's a scam.
True that. Honestly. All right. Tell us about this. Who are the three, people in your life who have been the most influential to you?
Oh, okay. So the first, definitely my mom and my dad. They're to me one unit, so I guess they count as they're two people, but they count as one person.
It's
They're
you can count them as
definitely
one.
they're always mama papa, like. But I think the fact that they've always supported me to extremes. मतलब even to the point कि when my mom would be saying something कि नहीं मैंने इसको नहीं selective पे भेजना या मैंने इसको नहीं उस पे करना, my dad would always be like कि नहीं, वो मेरी अम्मी के पीछे से जाके मेरे फॉर्म सबमिट करा देगा, अच्छा शौकत खान हम जाना है, जाओ महीने के लिए, हो कोई मसला नहीं. So they've always been very, very supportive. That's alhamdulillah, that's a huge blessing. And second, definitely my husband. He puts up with all my crazy ideas. And then when those crazy ideas fail, he's always, there. कहता है, move on. Let's try another thing. कुछ नहीं होता. Roll with the punches. And third is definitely, I think, my brother. He's a huge influence because he is, mashallah, the most hardworking person I know. He's an engineer, वैसे, and I don't think doctors engineers की वैसे कोई rivalry है. But I think as a person, he really inspires me. He's constantly, he works so hard. मतलब, and now he's in Canada all by himself, working, finished his master's. So yeah. He's like here, and I'm like,
Mashallah,
oh
mashallah.
yeah.
All right. And the next question is, if you could step into my shoes right now and
Hmm.
ask yourself a question, what would you ask?
I would say, Asad, you are doing 200% above average than most med students, and that's pretty inspiring. Keep at it. Don't stop. It
Thank
gets
you. Thank you so much.
exhausting.
It means a lot.
I know it gets exhausting, and especially when you think you're not getting enough of appreciation for the hard work that you do. But you have to keep going in spite of it. You have to.
Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. It really means a lot.
No, I know.
Um, all right. What do you think about health and wellness in today's society, especially in Pakistani culture, Desi culture, हमारा, what do you think about that?
It's very skewed, especially I think for women, because we tend to, we follow a lot of these fad diets, and then we cry about the fact that, oh, why are we fat? Why are we this? Why are we that? Dekho, everything has to be in balance. If you feel you're genuinely unhealthy, go and get a hormone panel done. Get tested. Go see a proper doctor. Don't follow these homeopaths and morning show hosts के वो कह रही हैं कि acid vinegar जो भी पियोगी तो पतली हो जाओ. We have this
Sana
tendency of
Makki.
following these. हाँ, exactly. Sana magofala. ठीक है, तो we have this tendency because we're a very poor country. We're, unfortunately or fortunately, we're a very, very poor country, and we want solutions at, the quickest time possible at the cheapest rate possible, and we will play with our health to get there. So I think that mentality has to be shifted very gradually and slowly, and we need to take celebrities out of this equation, especially when celebrities start pushing these short-term solutions. So we need to bring doctors back up to the front, and I'm really glad that people like you are taking initiative. One of my friends, Ali Salman, who runs the gym in F10, the Grit Factor, I think, Grit Fit Studio, sorry. So they're all coming to the front, and I think medicine really needs to take this challenge up and show people that, health is not something you play with. It has to be a long-term commitment, and there's no shortcuts, there's no short-term solutions. So that's my aim, my hope, inshallah.
That's so true. That's absolutely true. Because, I recall yesterday night, I was talking to my cousin and I was like, just imagine if you can have if you can have all the time in the world, if you can have all the money and riches you have, if you can have all the fame you want, everything, but you don't have the health, what do you think? What are you gonna do? And he was
Exactly.
just like, I mean, you can't do anything. I mean, if you're not healthy, you can't move. You cannot enjoy anything. And people, and
Exactly.
and the thing with medicine is, we always focus on the treatment. We don't focus on the root cause. We don't
Yeah.
focus on the prevention itself.
Preventive health is actually a
All
specialty in
right.
America, but people don't gravitate towards it as much as, say, radiology or surgery. But it's a whole specialty, and preventive health is going to come up pretty big in the future.
So true. I mean, Pakistan, they don't even like look at it. Like, if anybody talks about it, they're like, okay, sure. But
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
it's
I mean,
sad,
it
huh?
needs to be talked about.
Definitely, definitely.
All right. So, Dr. Asmara, tell the audience, where can our listeners connect with you online?
Okay, I have a LinkedIn, which is my professional side. I keep all my publications and stuff there. I have my Facebook page, which is again the Doctor Reads, and I have my Instagram, which is the Doctor Reads here, and I'm on Twitter as well. Twitter is mostly because I follow a lot of epidemiologists on Twitter, So for me, it's more like a learning tool. They have these tutorials where they break down research papers and they find all the highlights from that study. And I think it's fascinating. It saves me the trouble of reading the whole paper, and I just have the whole, like, the learning points from it. So for med students, I think definitely use Twitter as that med Twitter tool that you can look up a lot of researchers, you can ask them questions directly, and they'll get back to you.
That's amazing and that's beautiful. Dr. Asmara, this is a question, and these, like, I got 2 to 3 questions about this, the same topic, and that is, ki, how do you keep yourself, productive, and how do you balance being a doctor, being a blogger, and then being a mother as well? How do you do it?
It's crazy. Well, it's something that one of my friends actually told me once, and she read it in a book somewhere. She said, "Dekho, you have all these balls in the air. Some of those balls are made out of glass. You have to catch them. But some of them are made of rubber. It's okay if you let them go; they'll bounce back. So you can't constantly be on all the time. You need to be able to balance between what you can let go and what you can kind of, I need to get this done now." So that balance, unfortunately or fortunately, only comes with experience. So young children, I don't think of failure as a bad thing. It teaches you things if you're open to being taught. So it's not a negative thing, definitely.
That's absolutely great. Thank you for that. Over here, Hania says, if you can talk more about, if you can explain the research thing in that we're, जो भी आप बता रहे थे.
The research thing for, sorry, the research thing
Yeah, Twitter thing.
in
The Twitter
Twitter.
thing.
Okay, okay, right. So, for example, abhi if I read a paper in any journal, abhi this time the recent paper that came out on Moderna, the vaccine, jo uski aayi hai. So I had a question about the sample size that they chose and why did they break it up into, say, कि इसमें white people इतने क्यों हैं और Asians इतने क्यों हैं? Because my concern was कि जो vaccine it kills more black people and Asians compared to white people, right? The mortality is higher. So I had a question, and I just asked I DM'd one of the people in that group, and I asked them, like, why was it broken down this way? And they said, okay, Dr. Malik, your question is pretty good. Here's the thing: this is a phase 2 trial. When we go into phase 3, that's when we plan, because we'll have a larger sample size of thousands of people. Right now, we only have 34, 35 people, so that's why we had to keep it in a way that only volunteers could come, and unfortunately, only volunteers from this particular group showed up more. So it was very, for me, I think this is a very eye-opening thing. And as a learner, it's a huge opportunity because emails ignore हो जाती हैं, ठीक है? email थोड़ी एक formal चीज़ है, हर
So
कोई
true.
इसे नहीं देखता. तो Facebook के ऊपर भी people kind of go, this is my private space, this is for my friends and family. Researchers आपको वहाँ पे reply नहीं करेंगे. They'll think it's rude. They'll be like, why? It's like knocking on somebody's door to their house and going like, hello, I have a question. So Twitter is sort of this mix between having a formal presence and being open to informal questions. So when you read a research paper and you have some questions, you can ask them directly on Twitter. You can tag the writer. ResearchGate is again a website that is fantastic. They have all of these researchers there. They will send you their research paper for free, even if it's behind a paywall on a website. तो मैंने तो बहुत ऐसे ना भीखे मांगी हुई है ना कि like, oh, I'm interested in your research. एक बंदे ने मुझे अपना पूरा thesis भेज दिया कि oh, अच्छा, this is
Wow.
just one paper, but this was the thesis I got it out from. So if you're interested, I can email it to you. And I was like, yeah, sure. So it's a
That is
wonderful way
absolutely
to
great.
connect. Yeah. And
Exactly.
research
Like
is all
I
about
follow Fahim Yunus,
collaboration.
MD, on Twitter,
Yeah,
and he always reply to people. It's easy. It's very easy on
absolutely.
Twitter.
It is. And वो barrier एक eliminate हो जाता है ना कि like, oh, somebody sitting in America and you're sitting in Pakistan. So that distance is eliminated. Now you're both directly exchanging ideas, collaborating. And that's what's needed in medicine more than anything now, I think.
Exactly. So true. All right, Dr. Asmara. So my next question is very important. I feel like it's not talked about much. I feel like it's not given the due attention it needs. I feel like a far majority of us, we all go through this. We all suffer from this. It's about mental health. People go
Yeah.
through depression, through all these kind of problems, and they don't have somewhere to go. They don't have someone to look up to. When they talk to them about their families, the families think it's nothing, and they're just crying up for nothing, and all that sort of stigmas that are around it. So What's your take into this? How can people, really have a solution to all these mental health problems?
Okay, I think if you suffer from any issues, because medical students, I think, are the most vulnerable.Ey're so young, they're under so much pressure, and I see this as a teacher all the time. They have no one to turn to, and then they feel hesitant to come to you because you're a faculty member, and they're like, "Oh, ma'am, ko IP में marks काटेंगी, prof में marks काटेंगी." They'll think I'm weak and yeah. But never, ever, ever hesitate to go to a faculty member if you think they're approachable and they can help you. Okay? But if you don't want that and you would rather go for professional help, there are so many online options available now. One of my seniors, Dr. Yusuf, he also has an Instagram channel. He does these sessions online. One of my friends, she's not a doctor, sorry, Rabia, she does these sessions online now as well. So you can avail of these opportunities. You shouldn't hesitate. If you feel like you really need to have that access, definitely go for it. Because the longer I think you hold on to these issues, the worse they become in your head. And then that trauma just gets worse with time if you don't fix it. So instead of burning out as a doctor, instead of burning out as, a consultant, get to the root of the problem while you're young and you can do something about it. And the more proactive you are, the more you take the situation into your own hands. Because listen, desi people will always talk. ठीक है ये क़यामत वाले दिन भी ना they will be talking कि हाँ हाय क़यामत 5 मिनट लेट हो गई ये किस किस्म का सिस्टम है so it just ignore it. I'm telling this to you as an older boomer. कोई फायदा नहीं है किसी की सुनने का. Just your priority should always be you and your health. ठीक है तो and especially I think इतनी वो एक high pressure environment होती है medical college के अंदर. Sometimes you can't even tell who your friends are and who are just people who are hanging out with you just for the lulls. Identify those issues, find out what is your state of mind, and then target them and then fix them. ठीक है इसके लिए आपको खुद थोड़ा proactive होना पड़ेगा. But if you think therapy will help you, go for it. ठीक है up to like with everything online, I don't think there's anybody who will turn you away. So definitely do pursue it.
So true, so damn true. And like you mentioned, med school is a place where, there's a lot of toxicity, there's a lot of negativity, there's a lot of political shit. And like we all go through it. That's the unfortunate thing. And sometimes people, they don't have anywhere to go, and people think of therapy even as a, there's a lot of stereotype and stigma around it. I mean, Pakistan se bahar, outside Pakistan, in the States, in the UK, they don't even think about it. Like it's second nature. It's just like, you go to gym, to improve your physical body. You go to therapy for self-awareness and for your mental health, right? So
Exactly.
that's absolutely, you're perfectly right. What would you recommend someone, when they feel like, having these problems? What would you recommend as the first step to do? What's the first aid according to you about mental health?
Do not deny it. Don't put yourself in denial about it. It's like breaking your leg. Praying isn't going to fix it. Just you have a problem, go to a physician, go to a therapist.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So, what is that one thing you would want to leave the audience with today?
I wish you guys would recognize that as med students, you have so much potential, like crazy amounts of potential. And I feel like you guys just don't get enough exposure. You aren't guided enough about these things. And just, don't let yourself be held back. If you want to do something, go for it. Don't ever think कि maybe next year, maybe the year after, because वो time कभी नहीं आएगा. You want something, you're interested in something, that you want to get that case report, go get that case report. You want to talk to that consultant कि सर मैंने आपसे ये tips लेनी है, पकड़ लो उधर ही. ठीक है nobody will ever, maximum क्या करेंगे, नहीं कह देंगे, ठीक है, so what, move on, get on with the next thing. But don't ever let people hold your potential back, because you have potential. You all do.
That is, I feel like absolutely something everybody needs to internalize, because we all, think there's a lot of peer pressure around, and just now the guy can go to that consultant and talk to that person. I mean, just go. If there's a, if they stop, that's okay. You move on. But people, they just stop. Once they go and they just stop. They don't move forward. And you're right, because we have 24 hours. Every single person on this earth has 24 hours. The Rockefellers, the Abraham Lincoln, all of those guys, all those famous guys, hardworking guys, they all have the same amount of time as you do. But so you have to break down your 24 hours. What are you actually doing? And that comes to your thing, that you have unlimited amounts of potential. You can do all of that if you want.
Yeah.
All right, Dr. Asmara, thank you so much for coming here today. It was an absolutely
No,
amazing
you're
session.
welcome.
Whenever I talk to you,
No,
whenever I
I'm
have a
honored.
conversation with you, it's so professional. It's really on that level. मुझे एक होता है ना, doctor to doctor वाली talk. That is it. That is it.
Yeah. I just want, I try to do this as well when I'm teaching. I want students to think that I'm approachable. I'm not some demigod. I'm a human just like you. I have issues, you have issues, but together maybe we can come up with something that's a really great idea. So I just always want to be open to students in, a physician capacity.
That is so true. And you're one of that rare group of people who are that approachable, because nowadays we see people. I mean, I see my teachers. They're not that approachable. Like they on the side of a student, they just go away. I mean, they don't
Yeah,
do that. Which thank you so
mera
much for that.
sad. You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a huge honor for me.
Thank you so much. It's a bigger honor for me. I'm actually grateful and very pleased to have you. Inshallah, I would also want you to have another session with you somewhere in the future.
Definitely.
And I'm looking forward to see you going to places already, because you are on
Inshallah.
that level. Mashallah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Asmara. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. I hope you guys had a nice time. All right. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. You'll end it here?